All right, guys. I think it is time for game number 2 coming up. I'm pumped up. That Space Jam really got me in the mood, Breaky.
Yeah, I'm glad you played that because, you know what? Life is complete now.
Yeah. So. Well, I figured that we all needed to get pumped up a little bit for game number 2. It was not a fairly quick game. Well, maybe fairly. It wasn't super fast, but not super long either.
Yeah, no, that was a really good game. It really was. We got a lot of action in it. We got a great back and forth battles. We had a moment there, Frey, with their lineup. Perhaps if they hang out just a little bit longer, may have been able to start coming back and pulling through for their sake. But tdM just was too much, man. I mean, too overwhelming and leading us into this game too. So.
Yep, very solid plays on both sides, but I'm looking forward to game 2. Again, this is one of these series where it can really go either way. This could end up being a 2-0 for tdM, or I could easily see this going into a third match where it's anybody's game for the taking. So really looking forward to seeing this series continue here. Of course, we are in... we're at the ESL. What is this season? Is this season 10? Is that what we're up to now? Season 10 already?
I think Major Series 10. Yeah.
Major Series 10. So 5,000 euro on the line today. This is the absolute grand finals. I guess the winner, first place prize, 2,500 euro. That's what I saw someone say in chat.
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah.
So that's pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty sizable chunk of change. Again, neither of these teams European, so those euros a little more valuable, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, welcome back, guys. Welcome officially to game number 2 here between Frey and tdM. Of course, tdM up 1 game over Frenetic Array. I know there are some minor audio lag issues via Skype, so the stream itself should be pretty good. I, Zyori, am driving the camera today, and Breaky is with me on Skype. So a little bit of lag. Hopefully the video should be good, and my audio should be fairly lag-free, but keep you guys apprised as best we can. Regardless, so welcome. Breaky, we didn't really do a formal introduction, but I think it's time to start talking about the bands.
Yes, we should. Anyways, obviously just finishing right there, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we're dealing with now in this game here. So, as far as the bands are concerned, we got our Mage Bane, Valkyrie, Tempest, Demented Shaman, Parasite, Pebbles, Tundra, and Keeper of the Forest. So, yeah, we did see that Tundra band. Obviously, played the first game in favor of Frey, but still, just because they came on the losing end, I'm sure, in fact, Frey banned Tundra. Yeah, they banned it with their first band. They did not want to give that to Moon Meander, so taking care of that. Good to see the Mage Bane banned as always. Never too much of a fan of seeing him, but Valkyrie also banned by tdM here, so clearly making a statement that they don't want to deal with WTF or Leon's Black Valkyrie for that matter, so. Or Slix's, apparently.
Yeah, and as we noted, plenty of Valkyrie players over there on Frenetic Array, so it's sort of strange to see Valkyrie banned, but against Frey, like you said, I can't say that I'm too surprised. I really can't.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we see Slix banning all the junglers pretty much. Well, 2 junglers, BK going to ban the Tempest, but maybe
Ophelia's on the board.
Huh?
Ophelia's on the board.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's actually pretty interesting as well. If any jungler is banned fairly frequently, she's kind of that go-to. We're not trying to mess with Ophelia here, so that's kind of interesting as well. And lo and behold, Sender goes ahead and just grabs Ophelia. Bubble's going to be picked up as well to complement that Glacius. So a pretty intellect-heavy lineup for tdM to start things off here, and we'll see what Frey does in response. Magnus is still on the board as well, so... oh, no, he's not. Pardon me. Already been picked up by Frey. Pardon me.
I don't know how much of a Ophelia player Z-Freak is, and I was actually going to say... I'm really hoping that's why I made that point that she wasn't banned, because I was hoping Frenetic Array would pick her up, because Watalaba, I know for a fact, plays a fantastic Ophelia, and he's actually known for, against certain lineups, depending on who he's facing against, but he actually goes to Vagabonds. Not the Vagabond leaders, but the Vagabonds with the mana burn, and those things hurt, man. I mean, if you get a pack of 3 of those, that's 300 mana you can burn on something like a 10-second cooldown. They do 9 times with each creep with their mana pool. So it's a ridiculous amount of mana burn, and it's actually pretty entertaining to watch that. And he's also just, again, a great player himself, speaking of the jungle, as well as microing. So, but it is going to be a tdM, but as I was making the point, I don't know how much Z-Freak actually has a history of playing Ophelia. He plays a great Keeper, a great Parasite, even a great Tempest, but Ophelia not one of those that stands out to me at least. as being a jungle that he plays. Maybe it's just because he is banned so often, or they just never get the opportunity. But I am curious to see if actually Z-Freak ends up playing the field and how well he does with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will certainly be intrigued as well. I mean, I haven't seen Ophelia in a while. Actually, it's been a good week or so since I've seen a good Ophelia game. So I'm going to be pumped up here. Like you said, the Hellborn side, Corrupted Disciple and Andromeda. So yet again, Andromeda going to be mixed in here. Seems to be on the rise, at least. After a long hiatus of no Andromeda, here we are with much more Andromeda to go around. Of course, going to synergize fairly nicely with Corrupted Disciple. That Aurora mixed with the Overload. A nice bit of minus armor to go with Corrupted Disciple's meaty auto attack. So it should be a little bit of nice synergy there. But the last two picks for tdM are locked in, and there it is. Moon Meander going to be playing the mighty Silhouette. So,
yeah. They got that Silhouette, man, but like I stated in the series yesterday, Silhouette didn't do as well for them as she has been doing in the past for Moon Meander against Frenetic Ray in that game there. So Ray has dealt with it very recently, so definitely keeping that in mind. We'll see how it turns out this time for Moon Meander, and we'll see how much attention they do put onto him, as he is, of course, expecting him to be laned with that Glacius, and we'll see where he's landed. Whether it's going to be that bottom lane, having Ophelia nearby as well, could make it very difficult to do much against the Silhouette, if anything, in the earlier phase. So we'll see if tdM decides to do that. But yeah, the way Frey finished as well, they go with the Cthulhu pick there. I love the Corrupted Disciple. Big on top of that. He's definitely one of those ranged carries we don't see a lot compared to Forsaken Archer and Silhouette even recently, and obviously something like a Valkyrie, but we do see him picked up from time to time, and can definitely do so much damage, especially with that Conduit. If you can get that charged up earlier on in the game, can just ridiculously tear through people. So looking forward to seeing Slicks playing the good old Corrupted Disciple here.
Yeah, it's sort of an interesting thought. I mean, perhaps they were anticipating that tdM would pick up Silhouette, and they're thinking, well, if we're going to have two ranged carries, who better to shut down Silhouette than Corrupted Disciple? You know, if you get that Conduit up on Silhouette to try and shut down some of that damage, you know, maybe that was part of their line of thought. Is we really don't see, like you said, Corrupted Disciple not too frequently, and especially not from Frey. I mean, I know tdM has been known to run him a time or two. You do see Corrupted Disciple against Armadon sometimes, but just as sort of just a ranged carry pickup, it seems a little bit interesting to me. So I'll be really curious to see how he scales in comparison to Silhouette going head to head.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Corrupted Disciple. He isn't your usual ranged carry, you know, build that shield breaker and just start pumping out mass damage. He's very unique in the sense, again, with that Conduit, he doesn't necessarily need to build mass damage items like others happen to do. And on top of that, he can also synergize with his, especially his ultimate. If he gets that shrunken head earlier on, it becomes really beefy. We see that Shaman's Edges, we see the Helm of the Black Legion, depending on the game, a lot of the time too, built on a hero like Corrupted Disciple to be able to stand strong in those fights and just constantly doing a lot of damage within them, again, with his ultimate and with that Electric Tide and whatnot. So we'll see how he decides to build here. As, Cthulhu running into Glacius. I don't think anything's going to come of it, but finding each other and each other a little love tap there.
Yeah, it's almost a bloodless kill. Both teams kind of dancing around each other, or maybe not a bloodless kill, almost a bloodless attempt, I should say. Both sides kind of playing ring around the rosy. Cthulhu looks like he's trying to bait some commitment here. Still yet to level up a skill, so I would guess that he's going to be going into the jungle here, and there's that hook him, and going to go ahead and grab a Minotaur. So now they may try to make something happen, though without that trample will be a little bit difficult. So it looks like Frey is going to pretty much have this Cthulhu do the half jungle, kind of half roam thing into this tri-lane, and we'll see how much time he actually spends in the jungle relative to how much pressure he puts in the lane. But sort of tri-lane type scenario for Corrupted Disciple down here should certainly be quite good. And also keep in mind this is going to slow down Ophelia a little bit, as he's going to use that hook him to take out those big meaty creeps. And I believe you can hook him Ophelia's creeps when she's in control of them, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say yes.
One of these situations where I accidentally throw Breaky under the bus.
That's definitely a case of, yeah, I'm not 100% certain on that, as he's in a lot of trouble. Speaking of the Cthulhu he is actually going to go deeper into the woods. The Catman champion trying to block him in. He has nowhere to go from here. He doesn't have trample, obviously, so he can't necessarily beat his way out of here, but oh boy, what are they going to do? He's going to eat his way through, and he's actually going to escape, it looks like. Oh my gosh, did they really miss it? What an escape right there from Wataliba. and he is going to get away. Unbelievable. Well, maybe not, actually. I mean, he's going to run into Ophelia right here. He's going to try to do some hero blocking, knowing that he doesn't have the trample, but that's not going to happen. So, wow, look at that. Well played by Ophelia, or by Cthulhu right there. But
yeah, I'm
going to go with yes, by the way.
I think so, too. I'm about 90% sure that's the case. I feel like I've seen it before, but we'll see as the game goes on, probably. But talking about a lucky Cthulhu, I did not think that was going to be the outcome of that little exchange, but very well done. You know, I don't know if it was a big play from Cthulhu or a pretty big misplay from the Glacius-Ophelia combo, but regardless, he did survive, and the Bloodlust kill will be thwarted. So let's take a look at some of the farms here, see how these lanes are doing. We do see down here Corrupted Disciple farming very nicely, Slicks 10 and 3. But I think the scary lane here is this Electrician in the mid who is solo heads up against Magmus and doing a very nice job. More Cthulhu action. It's a kind of a tri-lane on tri-lane down here. Of course, Ophelia and Cthulhu spending most of their time in the jungle, but 6 of the heroes all focused around this bottom lane, making this kind of an interesting laning phase. Up in the top, it is Bubbles versus Hag. B-Kid going heads up against WTF. So 2 1v1 lanes here as we have everyone else in the bottom.
Yeah, everyone's so evenly on the mini map right now. They're all so evenly played, so we're there for a couple of seconds. Actually, pretty hilarious. But you know, we were doing a little bit of talking about this yesterday. You know, seeing that old school tri-lane kind of go into the history, and we kind of got that tri-lane feel matchup here. I mean, by no means it's a true tri-lane, but we do got 3 vs 3 of the bottom portion of this map. But obviously, Glacius, Andromeda, and Cthulhu doing a lot of roam. Ophelia, of course, being in the jungle. In a sense, I guess you could also argue that it is 3 solos going at it. I mean, Silhouette, Corrupted Disciple, they're going at it 1 vs 1 while we have this jungle battle between Andromeda and Cthulhu going against Ophelia and Glacius. In fact, they're going to freeze Andromeda right here. Andromeda was going for the counter ward, but at what cost right there? Bloodlust kill going to come out. I don't know if that was worth it at all. And Cthulhu will just walk away. Nothing more he can do. So Andromeda, very risky because this ledge right here, there's no escape. Go in as we saw right there.
Yeah.
Oh, they collapsed on top of him.
Yeah, and up in the top lane, WTF actually going to be able to pick up a kill onto B-Kid, so I'm not sure what happened. I was totally looking at that ledge that you were talking about, and, well, Bubble's going to get taken down, so kind of unfortunate at the top lane there. But one really good thing for tdM is Traufmador on this Electrician. He's got some rune control, and he is just farming away 375 GPM. And of course, they'd have that double damage rune. Magmus is struggling quite a bit. I mean, we've talked about Electrician a lot in the past as one of the best solo heroes, especially against a fellow melee, but doing a really good job. You see Cthulhu with a haste rune down in the bottom lane, looking for an opportunity here, and he does have trample. Is he going to be able to do something to Ophelia? Nope, not going to commit. Just going to continue cruising around with that haste rune activated as it does wear off. So, unfortunately, not going to be able to set up a kill, but Cthulhu very much so committed to being in this Legion jungle to try and slow down the effects of Ophelia.
By the way, you can update the game overlay if you want to refresh it real quickly. Yeah, the scoreboard should be updated.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
I am lagging hardcore.
You actually sound good to me right now, which is kind of strange.
Really? Yeah, I'm definitely lagging hardcore. I'm going to recall Skype real quick.
Sure. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Can't hear you. Alright, well, Breaky is going to play around with his internet here, so we're going to do a little bit of solo casting at the moment until he comes back on. Yeah, not too much has progressed since tabbing out always gets me sidetracked here. Anyhow, Bubbles on Hag still going at it up in the top lane. Of course, Hag now winning this. Let's take a look at the GPM chart and just see where everyone's at. Hag leading the way on the Hellborn side, being followed up by Corrupted Disciple here, who's having a really good time down in this bottom lane. Numeander on Silhouette around 215 GPM, so certainly not taking off yet by any means against this kind of tri-lane, or as Breaky was mentioning, almost kind of a 1v1 against Corrupted Disciple, as all these supports and junglers have been roaming around. As you can see, Frey getting ready to set something up as they're hiding in the trees, and they are going to come in here. Moonmeander with beautiful positioning and be able to head back to the tower before Andromeda can get the Comet stun off, and he's going to be safe and sound. Of course, Sender here on Glacier is going to be back and going to be back there to support him. So as you can see in chat here, Breaky having some pretty serious lag issues. That Skype reconnect didn't work, so we're going to sit tight and to see if he can come back online. Maybe power cycle the router, you never know. Up in the top lane as well, Bubbles now continuing to struggle a little bit. Nice take cover, going to mitigate an auto attack, but it is not going to be enough. WTF. Going to be the one to pick up that kill. Down here in the bottom lane, the action continues as well. Ophelia the one to be in trouble. Are they going to dive this tower? No kills to come out quite yet. Corrupted Disciple does have that ultimate activated. Going to be doing a nice bit of damage, but alas, not ready to man up on the tower and is going to head back. So tdM again in this bottom lane, kind of boxed into a corner a little bit, but still in pretty good shape. Silhouette now going to hit level 6, so going to have that increased mobility thanks to the ultimate, just called Shadow. I don't think I ever knew the name of that ultimate. You should call it Silhouette's Illusion, but indeed it is called Shadow, as we see Ophelia head back to the well. So Cthulhufont's efforts here seem to be at least somewhat successful. He's sitting level 3, Ophelia sitting level 3 as well. So sort of sacrificing his own farm at the cost of being able to shut down Z-Freak's farm as well. At the very least, keep this bottom lane safe from Z-Freak's efforts to come in and try and shut down the Corrupted Disciple. Take a look at the stats here. Actually, no, I want to take a look at the GPM here. Electrician still having an absurdly good time, still around 350 GPM. Tralfmador is in great shape. He's going to wait for this bottom rune. Magma's going to be nearby, and it is going to spawn bottom here. It is going to be a haste rune as he does pick up that mana ring. So now we'll probably see Electrician start moving around. He's going to be a driving force in this game. We've seen Electricians definitely take off from time to time, and I think this is going to be one such game. But we cannot forget about the Wretched Hag up in the top lane. He's picked up 2 solo kills on the Bubbles now and is just free farming his way to victory as well. Looking at the creep score, 41-16 compared to the 54-9 Electrician in the mid lane. Electrician going to take a little bit of harassment, but that beefy presence that he is, not going to be too susceptible to getting taken out. Some lane swapping going on though. Bubble's actually going to rotate down to the bottom lane here and going to do what he can to try and just stop feeding Hag. Going to be one of these situations where Bubbles, instead of conceding more deaths to Hag, just going to rotate around and play a little bit more of a roaming support role to hopefully try and set up some ganks. He is level 6, so of course that kelp field, a very powerful tool in setting up kills, but not quite the case. So here we go. So just got the good word from Breaky. It looks like their internet actually did drop, so he's totally without an internet connection now. So we will be solo casting at least for the next few minutes. I do apologize for that for those of you that are here for Breaky. I know he's quite the popular one, the man behind honcast. I do apologize for that. So we'll probably be solo casting for at least the next little while here, at least until Breaky comes back. But we do see in the mid here, Electrician going to be in a little bit of trouble. The Kelpfield going to come out from Bubbles to try and keep him alive, and it looks like that will be successful. Wretched Hag going to blink forward and drop the Bat Blast. Oh, is Electrician going to go down? I think the dot might be enough to finish him off. He doesn't have enough mana. It is going to be a close call. Actually, he may be able to survive this. Haunt going to stay alive here, and this is going to be so close. That one last tick, and he will survive with just a couple hit points to spare. I guess it is sitting only level 1 for Wretched Hag, so yeah, there it is. Not going to be doing that huge amount of DPS. Very unfortunate, but we do see Frey starting to pull ahead a little bit in this game. Nice 2k experience lead. So most of that probably coming from Wretched Hag. If you take a look at the XP per minute chart, definitely a lot of that coming from Wretched Hag. We do see in the bottom lane here, though, Ophelia going to start putting some pressure on this tower with that Minotaur. Just slightly out of deny range there on that 200 hit point mark. Still in good shape, of course. Although tdM slightly behind early on with a Silhouette, you can never count them out to it. Only 10 minutes in anyhow. What am I talking about here? But yeah, Silhouette's farm is steadily improving, now to about 275 GPM. So Moon Meander just staying quiet down here in the bottom lane with that health tube. Probably going to be working towards that Nullstone first. Pardon me here. Like I said, if Breaky's internet does come back, he'll probably be joining us yet again. I'm not sure if it's just a temporary outage or what the deal is, but alas, he is not here. So again, Electrician in the mid lane. Corrupted Disciple going to go ahead and use that overload, and Electrician is going to try and engage. Sender going to come in and will be able to, well, throw a slow. Not going to be able to get that block, but just look at Tralfmador. He is so tanky, and he just, oh my god, that early farm really paying off, although he is starting to slow down a little bit, as is Wretched Hag. Both of them now around that 330 GPM mark. as well. So, actually a relatively passive game, all things considered. Only 3 kills now across the 7.5 minutes we've been in this game. Down in the bottom, Z-Frey did manage to pick up a tier 1 tower kill, but now Glacia's going to be in a little bit of trouble here, and he is going to fall. Bubble's going to man up a bit, and they do manage to pick up that kill onto Corrupted Disciple. Hag going to come in, and now Bubble's going to be in big trouble, but not before Magnus falls himself. I think Hag should be able to pick up this kill. No, the Sonar Scream going to be a beautiful take cover from BK, but Coolfont does come in with the trample and does manage to pick up the kill, so a lot of exchanges going back and forth. Down in the bottom, Moon Meander and Ophelia able to pick up that kill onto Riser, who is in control of that is in control of that Andromeda. So now tdM definitely going to come out ahead after it's all said and done. Going to be able to put some pressure on this tier 2 tower as well. So now tdM in fairly good shape. That XP gap is going to be closed, and going to get a nice little gold advantage, of course, from pushing that tower down in the bottom. I think more importantly, though, Silhouette going to get a nice boost in farm, as will Electrician. So we see Troutmador back up to that 375 GPM mark, kind of back to where he was, and Hag is going to dip down a little bit. Corrupted Disciple now starting to fall behind a little bit in farm, at least in comparison to Wretched Hag. What am I saying? Not Wretched Hag in comparison to Silhouette, but still farming at a reasonable rate. As far as item pickups so far, still fairly early on, so not too many crazy item choices here. We do see Electrician with about 1,200 gold in the bank, though he did just make an executive item choice, and what's it going to be? It looks like he's going to be going for those Ghost March as well as that magic armor, so just going to continue to add to that beefy presence. Other than that, Silhouette now with his Sustainer, so that's good news also. And just continuing to farm away on this bottom lane. One of the problems with pushing up that close lane early on, now Moon Meander doesn't have a lot of space to farm. We see all the lanes are pushed up, and what would be his safe spot to farm is now pushed up all the way, and he really doesn't want to go up here too far. So you can see very, very hesitant to move near that tier 2 tower in case the ports come in, as well as if someone's hiding in the nearby jungle. You see triple stack here at the Ancients. Troutmador as well as Cinder are going to be the two to try and take them out. So again, going to be boosting the gold of Troutmador here. Going to push him over the mark for that 400 GPM, actually up to 422 GPM. As always, the power of stacking those Ancients, one thing that Frey is really not doing right now. We see that single stack just sitting there asleep. And one of those things that we point out from time to time on the Honcast channel about stacking those Ancients and making sure to take them out in the most efficient manner possible. Very, very good news there, and going to help Troutmador quite a bit. Breaky CPK. Hello, good sir.
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, mic is muted.
All right, there we go. So, Corrupted Disciple going to get engaged on up in the top lane, and he is going to fall to the hands of Troutmador. All that magic damage, just a little bit too much for him to handle. So tdM now in really good shape, 3k gold ahead, and that experience lead that Frey had just a few minutes ago is completely depleted, as we see tdM now putting pressure on this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Z-Freak and Moon Meander doing some serious work. A port is going to come in, but no glyph going to be used quite yet. There's the glyph. Hag going to come in, drop that ultimate on top of Ophelia, but the tower does fall. The deny does not come out. That heavy ballista going to be the one to actually pick up the kill. Up in the top lane, more action continuing. Troutmador going to pick up that kill onto Riser, but Glacius could be in a little bit of trouble. No, he is not. With Talaba turns around, but not going to be enough. He does fall to the wrath of B-Kid on that bubble. So tdM really in a good spot at this point. They may even be able to get this tier 1 tower up in the top lane. So now that the action has slowed down a bit, Breaky, are you back with us?
I think I am. Everything actually sounds crystal clear now to me, at least. So
you sound good.
I think the lag may have kind of gone over the hill. I'm crossing the fingers.
All right, very good.
Sounds at least better, but
I certainly hope so. You sound crystal clear, man. The quality even sounds better of your voice than how you were before you DC'd. So maybe you got the kinks out, got the bugs out. Do the power cycle.
Maybe that's because I just downed a Red Bull.
Yeah, no, down to Red Bull. Pour some Red Bull on the router.
Pour some Red Bull on the router. One for the router. The rest for myself. Yeah, no, it's hopefully we're back now, but it seems like yeah, obviously unfortunately I wasn't really able to catch many things that happened here, but it looks like tdM is feeling pretty good with where they're at this point right now. Up 7-5 and 6,700 gold. A lot of pushing going on, it seems like, too, with the 3 tower kills here in their favor. So
yeah,
looking good for them.
Definitely, and actually the tower pushing kind of just started. They took out that tier 1 in the bottom lane, but then were able to win that sort of array of team fights just as you were coming back and get those next 2 tower kills. So it was actually fairly even with Frey slightly ahead. Now tdM is starting to pull ahead. If we look at that GPM chart, Electrician has just been out of control. Tralfamador was free farming in mid. He took out a triple stack of Ancients, got a couple of kills, a tower kill, and now, I mean, he is just out of control. On top of that, Silhouette farming very nicely as well as Moon Meander been able to turn his farm around. Not about that 350 GPM mark, way ahead of Corrupted Disciple, who's notably been struggling a little bit here. So, we'll see. Wretched Hag, kind of the Frenetic Array's saving grace at the moment.
Yeah, WTF, no doubt. Gonna have to be a big one. But look at the Minotaur army. They're gonna find Wretched Hag the stun just a little bit too late, though. Boy, oh boy. Getting very close right there, but not able to connect. And this tower will indeed go down. So that is now the 4th tower kill. But yeah, you said an electrician, man. I mean, I put up the GPM chart when you said to, and holy crap, 511 gold per minute. Tralfamador doing work here. For us, team. Another note, by the way, we are still on a Japan server, just like the first game. So I guess it's the case, with this matchup, according to ESL rules at least, you play on the Japanese server. So kind of interesting. I find that. I don't know if that's actually been the case for many other events, but like I said, it's not like it really is even ping advantage between the two. So
yeah, I mean, I just did a /PA. It's within 3 ping. That's remarkably even. I mean, that's wow. So maybe there's something to this Japan server nonsense after all.
Yeah. Cool stuff there. Yeah, but right now, Trademark Esports, I mean, again, that golded pretty up there, but the experience, not nearly as big as, obviously, when you're doing a lot of tower pushing, tends to be the case because of the grouped up experience that you're getting, but I'll say, as far as the experience goes, it's only very slightly in favor of the Legion team, as that may be that kind of saving grace here for Frenetic Array. I mean, you got your level 12 Hag, you got 10 Corrupt Disciple, 10 Magnus, who got that portal key is coming soon, 1950 gold. So if he can get that in the very near future, which in fact there he goes, with the purchase right there, that's something that they can take advantage of. And I also like the fact he has a level 3 lava, or the volcanic touch there. So that's that could be a lot of extra burst damage, even in those big fights. It's not necessarily a farming tool like people like to make it out to be. Even when I first think about it, that's what I think about, but in those big fights, especially if you get near a creep wave when the big fight happens, you can last hit those creeps and do an extra, 170 magic burst damage that you're doing on top of it. So it's kind of cool to see that build kind of going on there from Leon Black here for Frenetic Array. But tdM, let's set the grouping up once again and maybe do another push here in the middle lane now.
Yeah, definitely right. Up in the top as well, Wretched Hag going to put some pressure on that tower. And we do have Corrupted Disciple just kind of hanging out in the jungle alongside. This could end up being sort of an interesting team fight here. tdM could have a nice number advantage. Cthulhuphant, Andromeda, as well as Magnus, the noble defenders here to try and keep this tier 2 tower alive. Magnus does have that fresh portal key. Going to channel that ultimate behind the trees and blink in. It is going to go right on top of Glacius. That'll be enough to secure the kill on Descender. Wretched Hag going to come in, and there's the Bat Blast going to connect with most of the heroes on tdM. The Kelpville going to come to slow down Wretched Hag a little bit, but it looks like Frey could be in a pretty good position here. tdM going to go ahead and back up and try and reset this fight. Let that haunt tick down, and indeed they will. So Sender actually going to be the only one to fall when it's all said and done. Up in that top lane, Hag was able to finish off the tower with those illusions. So well played by Frey, a nice defense, and actually coming out ahead.
It was at the same point, though. We did see Electrician and just how powerful he is with that farm. I mean, he's stood in the background. He was basically taking the rest of the team while Cthulhu was in the front lines, kind of do the same, I guess you could say, for his side. In fact, he's going to get jumped right here by Magnus, but I don't know. I mean, he's going to purge himself off because the Haunt, and he'll just walk away as if nothing happened. So again, all those items that he got earlier on, definitely showing off by Tralfamador there, playing that Electrician. So that's, definitely, you could say a one fight there for Frey, but you did get to see a little bit of the power that tdM has right now. And then you got the Silhouette, who with a Nullstone, 295 gold per minute. She's only going to get more and more dangerous. So Moon Meter having his typical Silhouette performance that we've been seeing so much lately, as going to continue to farm here at the bottom lane. But Hellboy and team, Corrupted Disciple keeps going back to him. As you mentioned earlier on, didn't necessarily have the greatest of starts. He is at that 300 mark, gold per minute. And my guess would be that's the Mighty Blade working towards the Shrunken Head, which is a very powerful item on him in most cases. So, like I said, if you can be mobile in those team fights because of that conduit, because of that overload, then you can be very damn useful for your team. So that'll be a great pickup for them. Will it be enough, though?
That is the mighty question. I mean, looking at the GPM difference, maybe it possibly could be. Was the Electrician now picking up a barrier idol? So we'll definitely see. Slicks definitely has been struggling a little bit this game. He hasn't really been able to pick up much farm. He's been doing a decent amount of damage, but just never really got that great start. That sort of funky, whatever you want to call it, tri-lane bottom or heads up with the 4 people in the jungle. I don't really know how to coin what we saw in the early stages, that bottom lane, but definitely favored Silhouette a lot more than Corrupted Disciple in that situation. So sort of unfortunate, and since then Slicks really hasn't been able to pick up too much momentum. Certainly not quite like Moonmeander has, as we can observe the difference in gold farm here. Also, the tower pushing has helped quite a bit. Z-Freak on that Ophelia, who has now finished his Astrolabe and his Plated Greaves as well. So sort of as we would expect, Ophelia going to be adding to that pushing power.
Yeah. Ophelia seems like she's also been doing a pretty damn good job here for her team. Again, being played by Z-Freak here. So that Astrolabe Plated Greaves you mentioned, great for the pushing power of the double Catmans now as well as a Vagabond later. So kind of changing things up a bit. And going to help perhaps with some push even more as the damage is happening on the tower. Want to move the Catman Champion back. It's not going to go out of range though. And it will end up dying. There's a nice job with the hook him and the deny on the tower to finish it off right there. So well played in the end by Frey, but still, again, that's another tower down. They are now down to that last tower at top lane here, as we see. So for tdM, again, it continues to be very much so in their favor. You see the portal key purchase actually by Bubbles right there, the Ninja Turtle Bubbles, which actually we haven't seen a whole lot of lately. We've been seeing so much Captain America Bubbles, but busting out the Ninja Bubbles.
You're right. I noticed that he was a different color, and you're right. That is actually the Ninja Turtle skin.
Doing work.
Look at you. Yeah, I see it. Oh, I see it now. Okay, he's got the little arm pads on. Oh, that's cute. I like it.
Yeah.
It's very adorable. Very, very nice. So anyhow, it looks like Corrupted Disciple now has finished up his Shrunken Head, so that is a bit of a good sign here, at least for Frey. Not that they're too far behind, but you talked about that on Corrupted Disciple. Once he gets that tanky presence and can kind of hold his own in team fights is when he really becomes a scary hero. That sort of chip damage from overload as well as letting that conduit build up some stacks. So hopefully he gets stronger. I'll be kind of curious to see what he moves into. Probably, I would guess a Geometer's Bane coming up next for him, but time will tell. Hopefully transition into a little more of that carry role. Wretched Hag kind of in the same boat, now finished up that Null Stone. What's she going to move into? Is it going to be the mighty Hellflower, which one would probably expect at this current metagame?
Yeah. Definitely think Hellflower would be a valuable option here for her. Silhouette, though, now at the top lane. Again, just continues to do work up here. Of course, that portal key pickup recently for her, and they're going to make it more of a push once again. So they want to finish off the last outer tower. And again, the minions in the front lines, they got a Wolf Commander now, and that's Wolf Commander is actually very powerful with that 30% base damage aura that it provides.
Yep.
Very useful for this team, especially when you add it on top of Andromeda, who is on the opposition. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I was saying it, I was like, oh, this is going to be so cool of a point to make, but yeah, I realized Andromeda's on the hell point. But anyways, it still provides a pretty solid aura of the 30% base damage for Trademark Esports, and it's kind of fun. Snotter Boss. Why do we not see more Snotter Bosses when we see Ophelia Affairs? I really don't know. Snotter Boss is OP, man. I forget the exact amount it actually gives you in movement speed, but it's a good amount of movement speed for your team.
I want to say it's 15%. It is a pretty good chunk. It's pretty good. Yeah, unfortunately, there are no Snotters on the map right now, so we can't check. But
yeah,
you're right. I think one of the problems with the Snotters is they're just so weak. They die in like.
Yeah. It is the problem, yeah.
Yeah. Can we buff Snotter Bosses, Dog Kaiser? Is that?
I'll talk to you about that after this. Don't worry.
Buff Snotter Bosses, please. But yeah, all things considered, man, it has been a really passive game. As you can see, 13 kills over 25 minutes. It's been a fairly hefty farm fest. TDM has found opportunities to make some kills happen and make some pushes, but pretty sporadically, all things considered. A lot of sitting back and farming on both sides. So kind of a little bit of a slower paced game, but TDM making pretty solid item choices here, at least in my humble opinion. We do see the Abyssal Skull coming out onto Ophelia, one of the items that we're all pretty fond of here at Honcast. And then, of course, Silhouette now picking up that portal key. So, Bubbles with his portal key as well. Things are continuing to progress.
TDM has so much push presence on their I mean, especially with that Abyssal skill pickup. They got that. Obviously, the Atelier plate agrees Abyssal skill on Affiliate. You got your Barrier Auto Ring of Sorcery on Electrician. I mean, you have so many abilities just from items alone that synergize so well when you're as a team. And then, of course, you had a hero like Andromeda. God, why do I keep saying Andromeda? He's not on the Legion team. Okay, that's Glacius. But anyways, for some reason, I feel like Andromeda's on the Legion side. But no, she's not. She is on the Hellborn team. But anyways, yeah, a lot of pushing presence, a lot of team fight that they have. In fact, they're going to need it right here. As Electrician gets jump. Will there be enough damage for that kill? There goes the Electrician once again. He's surviving. The Bat Blasted did hit, but he's still taking. Oh, and the swap at the last second to make sure that Magnus stays alive. The Legion team wasn't able to get there near the time. Look at Moonman to the goal. Balls to the wall. We'll take it in trouble. He takes that to the wall. Magnus like a counter eruption coming in right there. Moonman, though, still very much so alive. Magnus gets sniped out by Bubbles. Wretched Act forced to blink away. Takes the stuff for the field, though. And no, never mind. Okay, portal key. That's what Moonman was waiting for. I was wondering why he wasn't moving, but he was waiting for that portal key cooldown. And sure enough, snipes Wretched Hag. So definitely Trademark Esports coming out on top right there of that fight. Very well. But Electrician, man, I mean, he survived for so long. Sure, he ended up dying, but he made the mute a lot, and he tanked it for long enough.
Yeah, that was one of those cases where it's like, great, we used everything to kill Electrician, and now what? I mean, he is just so beefy. You saw that Bat Blast come, and he got that Barrier Idol off, and it just did such little damage. You got that huge mana pool, that huge health pool, all of that magic armor. I mean, Electrician, that early farm that Trough got is really reflecting in this game. So definitely looking good for TDM now, 27 minutes in. And, I mean, they've had some momentum, but now they're finally starting to pull ahead as far as experience lead is concerned, as well as that gold lead. You know, with their huge tower advantage, you'd expect some of that gold lead, but looking at that experience, now things are looking pretty good. Silhouette with 3,200 in the bank, Bubbles with 2,300 of his own, so some more big items going to be popping out here, and I'll be curious to see what they end up doing. I mean, one would suspect Moon Man will be grabbing a shield breaker before too long, but we shall see.
Yeah, Shieldbreaker probably going to be the next pickup here. I agree with that. For Silhouette's Corrupted Disciple, on the other hand, you know, again, where does he go? He did actually go that Helm of the Black Legion after the Shrunken Head, so usually you see it in the reverse order, but yeah. I believe at least that was the case. So, yeah. And that now,
kind of curious about that he went for the Shrunken Head first, and it's kind of peculiar to see the Helm of the Black Legion come around the 25-minute mark. I guess just trying to up that health pool a little bit, get a little more.
Again, I think especially for Corrupted Disciple, that Shrunken Head is such a priority item. And you know, you look at the Legion team, there's no doubt a good amount of CC coming out, good amount of magic damage, especially earlier on. I mean, sure, Silhouette as this game progresses, we'll start pumping out that physical, but if he's able to be mobile in those team fights, he will be very, very useful for them. So. That's I can definitely see why that logic had from Slicks of making sure to get the Shrunken Head first, now going to the Helm of the Black Legion to become a little bit more tankier. You know, something like a Soul's Bulwark into a Demonic Breastplate at this point I think could be very useful too, because, you know, he's got that magic damage taken care of. Silhouette's still going to be a big key against him. And the thing with Silhouette too, you could say, well, if Silhouette starts to pound on him, he could just use that conduit and try to drain her. Obviously, Silhouette being a smart player, and I'm sure that by all means, very smart player. He could just use his ultimate. He could morph out of it, of the conduit for one, and two, he does have a Null Stone, and obviously Corrupted Disciple can't get rid of that Null Stone by himself at least. So that's definitely a good counter there, you could say, to the Corrupted Disciple.
I would definitely agree with you, good sir. And see some more Ancients getting taken out. Still big time Farm Fest. Again, both teams just sitting back. And this is one of these games where I have to think to myself, which team is getting the better of this? You know, which side really benefits more from just this static kind of farm fest? And I mean, it's hard to say. TDM is such a nice lead set up for themselves that, you know, they're just not in too much of a hurry. But with both Wretched Hag and Corrupted Disciple on that Hellborn side, it seems it would benefit them a little bit more. I mean, what's your take on it, Breaky?
On who has a true advantage of what's going on right now?
Yeah, well, just like, you know, in the static farm fest, no one really pushing which teams,
I think,
you know.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I mean, I think the Legion team does have the better chance, and I mean, I think that really is just because, you know, you look at Silhouette, you look at Electrician, the higher GPM, but at the same time, it is one of those cases for your Hellborn side, for Frenetic Array, you know, they can't necessarily just group up and push. They can't. And I've been talking so much, at least, about this Legion side and how much team presence they have, and so that's why Frenetic Array was to group up and push. I don't know if they can necessarily win that battle. So they're finding themselves in a position of, all right, we're going to have to sit back and farm until tdM gives us an opportunity to maybe jump one of them. Whether or not that's, Silhouette pushing up a lane by herself, trying to get some more farm, not blinking out in time, Bubble's doing the same thing, or if just getting them out of position. I think that's really what they're relying on at this point. But if it continues to be a static, really still farming heads-up game, I eventually think tdM will have the true advantage of that. But I can also see why Frey is kind of doing what they're doing here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you kind of broke that down appropriately. Where we are at that point. It's sort of the trend, right around that 30-minute mark, the middle of the mid game, where a lot of the pushing has been achieved. Frey can't really easily move down. I mean, they could probably take out this tier 1 down here in the bottom lane, but other than that, pushing the tier 2 towers isn't particularly easy. tdM has all the outer towers down, so it's just a matter of farming and waiting for that opportunity to find a pick. Make that 5v4 situation and get that opportunity, capitalize on it, and then push into the base. As we saw earlier with, I guess, the Forsaken Archer game, when he got picked up, and it's like, well, there you go. We've been farming for 10 minutes just to wait for that one opportunity to jump on your carry, and now we can push up and take your rack. So it kind of makes sense why both teams are farming, but still...
obviously, again, from the spectator point of view, you're like, come on, do something. But,
kill him.
It does make sense. Just kill the other guy. That's how this game works. Silhouette invisible right now. You're in the middle lane. He's going to take a little bit of damage there, and but he will eventually fall back and be fine. So, obviously, wouldn't dare open right there, as you can definitely feel the presence of the Hellboy team coming up. But are we going to see a push here from Frey? Yeah, it looked like they were grouping up a little bit, maybe thinking of trying to overwhelm tdM there, but no, they're going to start falling back. And back to the farm game we go, it looks like. So Silhouette maybe trying to find a straggler left behind, but obviously, as you can see on the mini-map, not going to happen, so he'll have to go back to farming, as he's currently sitting on about 1,800 gold saved out. In the meantime, too, Z-Freak on this Ophelia, man, I mean, he continues to get bigger and better items. I wonder if that Neophyte's book is going to turn into actually Gnome's Wisdom. Could actually see, kind of continuing that aura and continuing the team support.
Although that will not stack with the Abyssal Skull he has in his inventory.
Yeah, you're right for the armor purpose, but for the heal purpose and just mana regen.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's, the armor is what they're thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking for the heal, not necessarily the armor, but yeah, that is a good point to bring up. But
the armor and the mana regen don't stack actually, so yeah, I would suspect a push book or a cyclone stick. I don't know which, though.
Mana regen.
But looks like we could potentially see a push here. The barrier idol going to be used, so tdM, I guess they've found their timing here. They're ready to at least pressure the base a little bit. And look at Moonmeander here just chipping away at this tower. He does have that ultimate activated with the illusion way back here, so he's going to keep chipping away as long as he can. Needs to be very careful. He's jamming that R, and there it is. The illusion going to come in. And actually, Wretched Hag going to blow the Bat Blast onto the illusion. Oh, that was so well done by Moonmeander to bait in the Bat Blast. And now a couple of Shrunken Heads going to be used on both Corrupted Disciple and Electrician. Magma's going to channel that ulti, going to come into a good bit of damage here. Nice line stun to hit Electrician and Ophelia. WTF going to pick up a double tap here on Moonmeander and Sender. Looks like Ophelia going to fall as well, so tdM may have overstepped their bounds. A 3-for-0 exchange. Sharpendoor going to try and port out here, and it is not going to happen. He does cancel it, but the Lava Surge comes in anyhow, and down he goes. So now make that a 4-for-0 exchange. I don't know what happened. It looked like tdM was off to a pretty good start, baiting those spells. But when it's all said and done, Bubble's the only one able to survive.
Oh, I think you're right. There was a positioning there for Trademark Esports, and again, I kind of missed how it happened, but I noticed where Silhouette died, and it was basically right at the bottom of the ramp there. And you compare that to where the rest of her team was, I'm not sure why. Maybe what's the swap? Okay, that actually makes sense. Okay, I was going to say. Unless there's something that they did to her. So she probably got swapped in again. There was so much going on in that fight, I didn't necessarily catch that, but if that was the case, which I actually think it was, that's huge for Frenetic Array. A great swap there from Andromeda and putting Silhouette in a poor position, getting her down before she could do too much. I mean, so yeah, it sucked that the Wretched Act kind of blew her ultimate, killing the illusion right there, but still they managed to kind of reset things and still eventually take out the Silhouette after the illusion was down, as that fight was really beginning. So very well fought there by Frenetic Array. They get the Conquer kill on top of that. You see a token of life now on Wretched Hag, of course. Yeah, this game, man. I mean, tdM definitely had getting a bigger and better advantage there, but that, talking about it earlier, Frey looking, they're kind of forced to just wait for that opportunity, and well, they got it right there as they were sitting at the base defender's advantage, kind of. Sure enough, worked out for them.
Definitely. I mean, I was a little bit surprised to see tdM push up so aggressively. Like I said, it looked good, but then they just a little bit too far up, I guess. Like you said, instead of tdM. I'm stumbling a bit too much here. It was surprising because tdM tends to be a very patient team that sits back, and they're the ones looking for those opportunities. They're waiting for that other team to push up, waiting for Frey to maybe try and take out one of these tier 2 towers and then capitalize, find somebody in the jungle. So it was a little bit surprising to see them get a little bit antsy here and push up into the tower. But alas, still in it. But pretty big experience lead now for Frenetic Array, though the gold lead's still in favor of tdM. All things considered, just going to level out this game to make it that much more even here.
Well, yeah, look at that GPM chart, though. I mean, Shuriken activated by Electrician right before the stun comes out, but he's all by himself again right here. Isn't going to even get the barrier idol off. He's not even going to use that. Silhouette will jump in. Oh, Silhouette, I don't know if I like this unless he can pour it out. What is Silhouette thinking right there? She's going to die. Glacius goes down. Oh no, Trademark Esports, what were you doing right there? They just threw that completely.
What happened?
I mean, Trophimidor was one thing, but why would Moon Meander jump in there? Oof, that sucked.
Yeah, I'm a little bit... I mean, I was even watching Electrician, and he wasn't using the electric shield, didn't use the barrier idol. I guess he figured he was dead anyway, but if Moon was going to jump in, I mean, any additional time that he can stay alive is going to be worthwhile. So if he could have at least turned on that electric shield once or twice, as well as followed up by the barrier idol, that maybe, I don't even know if that could have gone down. I don't know if it would have made a difference.
I don't think it would have. But again, that's a case of, honestly, there really wasn't a point of going in there. I mean, that sucks. Electrician got caught, but he was dead. I mean, there's no reason to go in there like they did. There wasn't going to be a positive out of that. I mean, hell, he may have killed, I think it was Andromeda that got low, but all right. I mean, suiciding yourself for an Andromeda kill, not necessarily the greatest exchange that you're looking for. So, yeah, that was un-TDM-like, you could say, from them, no doubt. So, unfortunate that happened.
I would definitely agree. Un-TDM-like, I think, is a good way to describe it. But Bubbles does now have a Hellflower. So. More items being picked up. Ophelia is going to move into a Storm Spirit here. So Cyclone Stick going to be a reality. And some more items coming. I mean, tdM definitely still in it. They're really just at a big experience disadvantage, more so than anything else. The Gold Farm, of course, has gone in favor of tdM, but they're still in a way. I see Beaky get engaged on here, and he's going to get dropped like he's hot. The Hellflower came out, and Bat Blast going to be used to finish him off. So WTF going to pick up another kill here. Still has that token in hand. Though how much time is left on it? Oh, still about 3 minutes and 20 seconds, so still plenty of time to burn that token. Wow, I mean, Frey now is in a great position. I was thinking this might end up being a 2-0 series, but Frey is looking damn good, and I mean, sort of well on their way here to take game number 2 to take us into an ace match. Like I said, certainly not over yet, but wow, Frenetic Array.
I mean, it's got to be frustrating, though, for tdM, if anything. That's definitely brings up the whole mental state that we talk from time to time of, they had this game. They had the advantages early on. It was looking like, one more fight that could have done it for them. But Frey hold their ground. They definitely held their ground, and they obviously capitalized on several mistakes from Trademark Esports. And now here they are, 39.5 minutes in, as you said, and actually a prime position themselves to be the ones forcing that third and final game. Silhouette is going to pour it out before she gets jumped right there. And obviously we'll be fine. But something else I want to reiterate too. I noticed that this is brought up in chat from time to time. This is not a replay cast. I mean, this is a live match, guys. The reason why they happen to be matched up again, it's a completely different tournament. Yesterday, it was the Fnatic Play tournament in the semifinals where they matched up, where Frey defeated tdM 2-0. Tonight is the ESL Major Series Grand Finals, which is what we're covering here, of course, where tdM currently is up 1-0. But obviously, as we were talking about, Frey definitely in the better position here in game number 2. So there you go, just kind of a quick recap there of what is actually going on right now.
No, definitely a good thing to point out, because it seems some people are confused that we're just casting the replays yet again.
Yeah.
But no, a last completely different event, totally not related, just sort of different, just totally different. So we'll see. I mean, this game still. I mean, tdM is still hanging in there. They're still going to sit back, play pretty defensively.
Wingbow was. Hold on, did I see that right? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I believe Wingbow was just purchased by Corrupted Disciple.
Did he have enough money?
So first off, he went the Firebrand, then he went Whispering Helm, and then, yep, there you go. He has a Wingbow being delivered. I'm just as surprised as you that all of a sudden his TPM just skyrocketed and he's able to afford that even. So, wow, yeah, he's going to be quite the movement hero as well as a damage dealer and even the buffing up the armor even to an extent. So, and that's a very good pickup to have against that Silhouette, of course. So, Disciple's dangerous now.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where Corrupted Disciple is going to be really the scary carry in this game. Of course, they have that Wretched Hag who's getting pretty damn scary as well. I mean, she does have a Shrunken Head as well as a Hellflower here and another Blessed Orb. So she, of course, along with that Null Stone. So she is pretty damn tanky. We do see Moon Meander almost in a little bit of trouble, but is going to make it to the Observatory here. Whoops. And is going to Portal Key into the mid lane. It should be just fine. So Moon using that Shadow Ultimate on Silhouette very appropriately. I mean, Moon Meander is still farming very nicely on Silhouette.
Yeah.
Above 400 GPM, so it's definitely not over. I mean, tdM's still in this game. Frey could certainly make that fatal misstep to overcommit and give tdM that chance to get back into this game. As we've said before, it's really an experience lead right now. You know, if, all things considered, it's fairly even. I mean, Frey is ahead by a couple of levels, but looks like they may catch an illusion of Tralfamador. The illusion also fools me for a moment there.
Yeah.
Still kind of this stagnant game where neither side is really able to commit to something too promising.
Yeah, Corrupted obviously using that overload right there, but not necessarily the biggest deal. Only a 60-second cooldown, and definitely will be up by the next time something happens. But yeah, I mean, Frey now, again, continue to look to be in the much better position as this game continues to progress. I just keep thinking back, I mean, let's not forget, Electrician was, what, 520 gold per minute plus at a point early on in this game? I mean, he was just ridiculous with his early on farm, and Silhouette was up there as well, around 400 GPM or so. So, you just keep thinking back to that and how much of an advantage tdM seemed to have earlier on in this game. And it goes to show you, though, perseverance, man. You just got to stick it out sometimes. And I kept going back to that's almost what Frey was forced to do, was going to just sit back and farm and wait for a mistake to happen, wait for that prime opportunity, and they sure enough got it. So, and now here they are, 43.5 minutes in, definitely in the better position. I mean, Demonic Breastplate on Cthulhu Fawn, that's definitely helping this Corrupted Disciple in several different ways. Magnus, he's been having a big game. The Shrunken Head picked up, of course, for him, as also Wretched Hag, who has another Blessed Orb picked up, so we'll see where he goes from there. Meanwhile, a lot of action happening. Andromeda gets picked up, but in comes Corrupted Disciple with that Shrunken Head. Glacius will fall to the ground. The Skeleton King going to fall as well, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 bitch ward support coming out right here, but it may be more. Ophelia is going to start dropping, trying to port out. Yo, the trample hits at the last second, and Ophelia will indeed fall. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of our Hellborn team. Conquerors should be up in the near future. So we'll see if that's what Frey looks to do here soon.
Might be. I just had a big yawn. I thought you were going to keep going on there. Not indicative of this game. It's just one of those evening yawns. It is evening time. As I have, like you said, a 2-for-1 exchange that will open up a window of opportunity for Frenetic Array here to put some pressure on the base. The glyph going to be used. Moonman are going to be forced to port back pretty quickly here as we see the tier 3 tower in the mid lane going to fall. The Rat's exposed. Is tdM going to be able to defend this with the glyph down? They're going to have to make something happen pretty damn quick here. Melee Rack's getting dangerous, although Bubble's just going to go straight in. He will use that Hellflower on to Corrupted Disciple as the engage commences. Hag going to throw that ultimate. It will be enough to pick up the kill on Descender. Tralfamador going to fall as well. It looks like Moonmeander going to be in some trouble, and I'm not so sure about this one, Breaky. I think Frey may be able to do it, and it's looking pretty good that we're going to move into a Game 3 fairly quickly here. The mid lane of Rax falls, of course. I don't see any buyback gold, and there it is. The GG well playeds come out.
Well, Frenetic Array, man, they come back there, and they pull through. So big congratulations to them, and here we are, back-to-back series now. Both of them going to be going to that third and final game here. So we will no doubt be having our final game of the night coming up, no matter what happens. But at the same time, it is pretty damn cool because, going in today, expected both series to be pretty great, and we definitely have gotten that so far. So I really can't wait to see what happens here at the finish. But tdM, you know that they got to be kicking themselves in the head after that game. They had it in their hands. They definitely had the advantage earlier on, and they could have won the series 2-0. But, some unfortunate mistakes on top of Frey really capitalizing, and all of a sudden, we're going to that third game, man.
Exactly right. So that wraps up here for game number 2. Game 3 coming up in just a